Hey everyone, how are you doing? I am Lawrence Watkins. I am the President and Chief Operating Officer of Boyce Watkins Enterprises in the Black Business School. Live with you on Facebook one more day. I'm so happy to be here. I'm so happy to be here with our special guest, Ido Wu. Ido Wu is a well, I guess you're everything, So you are really a women's rights, or excuse me, a women's empowerment specialist. You specialize in making sure that women can live their fullest life, and I want to hear more about that. Very, I want to hear about more about that very soon. Sorry, I hear myself talking on this Facebook feed that pops up automatically after I go live. But Ido, how are you doing today?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm doing excellent. So busy today. Like everyone's
Yeah.
hitting me with messages from left to right to everywhere. Yeah, and I'm just trying to focus and hear what
Are
you
we
have to
all?
say.
Are
Yeah,
we all?
yeah,
Because I'm like in 1,000 groups and I'm barely keeping it together. But I'm doing it. I'm having a great time.
excellent, excellent. Well, you are leading. Or one of the leaders of the Women Who Crypto group, and we'll talk about that. But before we even get to that, talk about your role as a facilitator and women's empowerment specialist, and the things that you've done in that particular area.
Okay. Well, I originally got my start as a life skills development workshop facilitator for St. Paul Public Schools. That's where I really got a chance to hone my skills and to work with inner city youths between the ages of 9 and 19, and basically knowing how to prepare for the future and prepare for what's ahead. After 5 or 6 years of curriculum development, I was looking into my own life at that time, and I was saying, I need some help too. So working with these children allowed me to look at the help that I needed, and then to look around and observe all the other young mothers who are also struggling. And, I said, you know, I need to use these skills to help my own community. So I ended up creating my own workshop curriculum, and I couldn't fathom where I could shop these ideas. So I just ended up creating my own homeschool. And
Really?
yes.
Who do you teach in your
So
own homeschool?
one more time.
I said, who are you teaching in your homeschool? Who do you teach?
I have a lot of women in my community, and I know my children can't stand for me to say this because they're just like, Mom, do you know these people? And I'm just like, no, I do not know these people, but I have a knack of, I have the ability of getting intimate with people without knowing them for a long time because I'm highly empathetic.
Mm.
And so I'll have women friends who'll call me and be like, you need to talk to my friend from college. You need to talk to my daughter. So actually my friends and family put me in business, if I was to be honest with you, because that's exactly how it started. Word of mouth. And then over time, as you keep doing something and doing something and doing something, you're like, well, let me create a professional platform. So then that's when my website came into play. That's when I started playing around on YouTube with doing videos. And what really took me to the next level was after doing counseling for a certain amount of time, I noticed that the women would need something to hold on to take them from day to week to month till the next time we would have a consult or a class or a workshop. And so the spirit was just like, it's time to go publish. It's time for you to sit down and put some of these ideas on paper. And my mother has been a special education specialist for 40 years.
Mm.
And so what she told me is, people don't like to read a big manual. So if you can make it easy, concise, and easy to digest, something that people can do on their own when they're away from me. So that's when I got the idea in 2010, 2011, to start putting my workshops kind of like in a workbook format. And that's when I got published in 2012. And
Oh,
those,
wonderful.
yes, and
Yeah.
those,
So,
and those are the books that I use for my workshops.
okay. So you use those books for your workshops.
Yes.
And the workshop's focused on, women's empowerment and things like that. So tell me why that's important to you. Why is this concept of women's empowerment, a concept that's important to you personally?
And let's start with the whole concept.
Okay.
The whole concept is women empowerment, mother empowerment, self-employment empowerment. And it's taken some years of experience and it's taken some years of interacting with others to realize the needs of women with children is vastly different from needs of women without children. But both of these groups need financial empowerment. And so that's where I put in the self-employment empowerment, because a lot of women were like, well, how are you doing all of these things? And I was just like, I can do these things because I'm home based. I'm not running around in the street doing 20 million different things. But it's taken a lot of work to get to where I am. And so I can look down and look in the past and be like, okay, that was hard. I didn't have to do it that way. That was a mistake. And you just condense your mistakes into, a program where it's just like, if you just focus on these things, you can get from the mud to the mountaintop, because I did it.
Well, let's talk about how you did it. So tell me a little bit more about your story and how you got to this current position that you're in now.
Okay. I'm going to say that I started out as a young mother. I got married at 19.
Wow.
I had 2 children right away. So when I graduated with my first degree, I had a 18-month-old and a 9-month-old with
Wow.
me at my graduation for my BA at Tuskegee University. Everybody knew me on campus as the girl who brought her children with her everywhere, because dropping out of school it wasn't a concept in my mind. So once the children came, it was just like, okay, well, how am I going to do this? And where I eventually figured out that multitasking an organization is key is because I had a group of young ladies who would watch my children for me in empty classrooms in the same building while I'd go to school. So I'd bring my kids to school with me, and my friends that were just leaving class, they'd take my children across the hall. I'd go to chemistry, do as much as I could. If I got the message on the horn, they're acting up, you need to come across the hall, then that's what I do. And I did that till I graduated, and I made it work. I have to say that when failure is not an option, you are guaranteed to succeed. It might take you a little time, but failure at graduating from college was just not an option for me.
Interesting. So how did you find those people that helped you out on campus? Were they readily available? Did you have to search far and wide for them? How did you go about that process?
I'm pretty much a social butterfly. So I get around and I'm out and about. I love helping people. I love supporting people. I'm one of those people that want to be a fly on the wall. I want to know what y'all are doing. So I had a couple of people that I had supported in their own endeavors. We can help you out with, your son or your sons if you need that. We can't do a lot, but, and I literally took whatever help I could get. If there wasn't someone available, I would try to take my child or children into class with me, and I would stay there until I got kicked out. Yes, there were teachers that were not having it. You got to go. No. And I'd stay as long as I could and be kicked out, and okay, now it's time for tomorrow. I'll do it again the next day, So I took the help that I was offered, but I did not let that help limit my ability to move forward with my goals.
Right, and I love it. And I think that's very inspirational and powerful, that you have that level of desire and commitment. A couple of days ago, I interviewed Rebecca Samuels, from our group as well, and she had a very similar story. Had children when she was young. She was actually 14, when she had her first child. A teenage mother, and had to go through the same thing. What do you think society could do to help, mothers really accomplish their goals, educationally or from a work perspective, while also, with taking care of children, child rearing, that type of thing? Like, what can society do different to make that easier for mothers?
Well, one thing that I would like to start with. Rebecca Samuel said something that's very important. She said that I'm at the age where I can talk about these things, and I want to talk about these things, and I want to be listened to, and I want to expose these things so that, you know, people have a proper view of what it's like to be a single woman or a married woman and trying to raise your family and also take care of all of these responsibilities. For me, I would say the biggest thing lacking in our community is women who have been through the same things, overcome those obstacles of coming up from the mud without help, without resources, without, I don't know where to go to, but these people who have made it from the mud all the way to the mountaintop. And when I say mountaintop, I'm talking about you actually completed college. You actually started a career. You got that first child into college or into their own place. Or you started your own business, which is what I call the mountaintop. Self-actualization for me is called the mountaintop. And for me, I needed to see women to come from the mud and make it to the top so that I could know that I could do it too. Because the reality is no one can change what you've been through. You know, so I love, you know, the post that Rebecca made about I'm not bitter, I'm just better, because that's really what it's about. It's really not about you having regrets over all these things that have happened to you, because a lot of bad things have happened to a lot of women, but that doesn't have to be your story tomorrow. There are people who have come up from all types of mud and have built themselves all the way to their mountaintops. And the real question is, how did they do it in the shortest amount of time? So that's where Great Woo Gallery in the Hall of Sophia comes from, because I find that I needed positive, you know, strong images of women who were in love with their families, but also had gifts, talents, and aptitudes they wanted to explore, but had to put their dreams on the back burner to do their family. So I said, I needed some positive images. I couldn't find them, so I drew them. I made the images that I needed. Oh, I need some books with some affirmations, something that can pick me up. I couldn't find the right book, so I wrote the book and published the book. Oh, I need classes on how to get married from a African American perspective. How do you come from a person or from a family, a broken home, but I want to have a whole home, but I don't have that role modeling. Where do I go? So for me, all in a nutshell, I think that more women, especially women of color, and especially women who have children, need role models on how to multitask all of these things successfully. And you need to know that if you see another woman doing it, you can do it too. Every woman can have it all, is what I'm here to say.
Wonderful. No, I love that. Yeah, no, I really love that. So let's talk about the Woo Gallery. We haven't talked about that very much yet. Tell me more about that. So you are a writer, but you also draw and paint and that type of thing too. Is that right?
Yeah, you know, anybody who knows me knows I'm a wordsmith. I'm one of those people who love to read early in life. I loved reading not the Bible, the dictionary.
Uh-huh.
You know, I was one of those kids who were using words and people are like, what did you just say? I'm like, the equanimity of I wanted to use those words so bad. And people would be like, could you just slow down? Can you first learn how to use those words effectively? But I'm a wordsmith. So in college, I was a poet and a lyricist. So I went to a lot of lyricist lounges, but I got married at 19. So all that hanging out in the street had to stop. So that creativity, I'm like, it has to go somewhere. And it was just like, I really need to express myself. And I had a couple of people in my environment, and I was just like fascinated by how I had a friend that could paint, and I had a friend who could do life portraits. Whatever he saw, he could just put it on paper. And you know, influenced by proximity, it just rubbed off. It was just like, I started by going to the dollar store, buying some coloring books and learning how to color. That's where I started. And it was such a good therapeutic release for me because life was stressful. Being a young, poor Black mother, you know, overcoming a lot of obstacles because I didn't know a lot about the world. But once I started doing art therapy, that was it. And I just kept doing it. And then, 5 years later, 6 years later, my family was like, you got an art gallery. This is something that you really could pursue. But for me, I said, I didn't go to college for that. That's a hobby. Well, 10 years later, when you have like your whole house is like covered in art, it was just like, okay, now I feel confident in taking myself seriously and actually giving this art to the community whose mind I was thinking about a certain group of people when I created this art. So I'm just like, now is the time to allow women and mothers to have access to this art that was created specifically for them.
Why is that important in terms of having art created specifically for you giving this to them? Why is that important?
Why is Hollywood movies so important? It's the same thing. Images are powerful. Images are powerful. If a child that's raised by a television is going to start acting like they see people acting on television, just like if you look at positive, strong, inspirational art long enough, it will lift you up. There's a reason why people will pay $1 million, $2 million, $3 million and more dollars for artwork that inspires them, lifts them up, and also supports your own identity. It is important that women see strong examples of successful women and mothers who are financially well in the world being happy. Because when you see other women in the world being happy, that means that happy too. That's what I learned.
No, I love it. And I think it's so true and so important. The power of images. And you're right, Hollywood is a good example in regards to the power of images.
Yes.
And just, the movie and film and TV production in general, because I just think about sometimes, when I was in school, we had foreigners come in and they had such a negative perception of Black people because of what they saw on television in China or India or wherever else it may have been. So, changing those paradigms in people's brains in terms of switching them from a mindset of poverty or a mindset of I can't do something to a mindset of, I can accomplish anything, I think is a very powerful thing to do.
And let's talk about the greatest power of images with Black Panther.
Mm-hmm.
Black Panther is changing the world. It's just a movie. It's not real, people.
Right.
That lets you know that images are powerful and they're not to be played with. Mm-hmm. If you are in a place surrounded by negative images, it's going to impact you. It's a guarantee. Mm-hmm. Positive images are a necessity to come from the bottom to the top. And in order to climb your way to the top, you need to look up and see what you're looking towards. What are you trying to look forward to being, And so, yeah.
Yeah, so let's switch gears a little bit. So you have the Woo Art Gallery. You have these workshops to empower women and mothers specifically. Let's talk finances, right? So we are at the core a financial empowerment organization with what it is that we do. And that's something that is of interest to you. So can you talk about how finances play in the grand scheme of things of women's empowerment, and then more specifically the empowerment of women with children and mothers, that type of thing?
So because I was a young mother and I didn't have a lot of help, you already know I made a lot of mistakes. And when you talk about finances, I would say the greatest mistake that I made financially is being concerned about my finances late in life. There comes a time when you realize, wait a minute, I'm living paycheck to paycheck, bill to bill, struggle to struggle, crisis to crisis, from day to day, week to week, month to month, year to year. Wait a minute, something is wrong. And I found myself waiting for this break that never came. And I said, something is wrong. And so once I started to study other people that were into finance development, and they started mentioning words like credit score and savings and investing, and all this stuff is going over my head, I just knew. I said, there has to be some information that I didn't get in these areas, and I need to boss up on my education. So that's exactly what I had to do, is get into the mentality that I am willing to learn everything and anything to pull myself up from where I presently am into my future, which is I wanted to be a healthy, happy business owner, and I wanted to be able to buy some vacation time so I can enjoy my family.
Exactly. Right. And yeah, enjoying your family, that vacation time, and being an entrepreneur. I view being an entrepreneur in many ways as just buying your time back, from other outside forces.
I
right?
agree.
Yeah.
And I tell people, when I was coming up in school, it was called home economics.
Mm-hmm.
It was called home economics, the business of running a house. But I tell women all the time, you're already in business. Where do you live? That's your address. That's your residence, where you buy groceries, get supplies. Okay. Pay bills, plan for the future, rest. Okay, you're already in business. You just need to focus and let's get some specific things established around your home so that you can actually financially prosper while you're taking care of the business of running your home. You're already a businesswoman, all you mothers out there. We just need to take that to the next level.
Yeah, no, I think that you're right. And I think about even things like microfinance by Muhammad Yunus. So he's basically someone who, I believe it was in India or Bangladesh, I can't remember the country, used to fund small groups of women to help them jointly create new businesses and that type of thing. And the reason he focused on women is because men had a tendency to be wasteful with their money, while women would invest it back into their family. And they also have the skills in terms of running a household to make,
That's
good
right.
when it comes to, when it comes to building something of value. And I just thought that was really powerful. And I think that, women, have a special gift, whether it's an instinctual thing or something that has been a gift that has been, I guess, given by cultural influences or something like that, to really change the world through entrepreneurship and finance and money. One new area. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, and I want to add, and doing all of those things while taking care of their families as well.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. Women have the what do they call it? The second shift. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Right? You go to work and then you come home and take care of the family. At the same time. Yeah, and we talk about these things like finance and investing. We can talk about entrepreneurship, but let's also talk about just investing the money that has already been created, whether it be through entrepreneurship or through the job, that type of thing. Now you're really big into crypto, is that correct?
I am.
Okay. Yeah. So tell me about that.
Because learning about crypto was really my deep dive into learning about investment. That's how my interest really got piqued. Learning about Wall Street and stock. I still have these feelings like I don't necessarily know enough, or know really what I'm doing. I feel like I know a little bit more about crypto, and I feel more comfortable investing in crypto than stock, just because I just took to it like that. I was very attracted to it, and I knew that I had to work on investing my money. So my financial outlook is, you have to start somewhere. Yes, my goal is to eventually start investing in stock, but I got my little entrance into crypto, so I'm just working with that for right now.
So tell me how you think crypto can be of benefit to women, either nationwide, worldwide, or whatever scope you want to tackle this question with. How can crypto be of benefit to women specifically?
Well, I know that I'm not alone with purchasing crypto being my first investment purchase. There's a lot of women who this is their first time dealing with investing and making real life practical steps towards improving their finances. So with that said, I'm studying anything and everything. And so once I started studying the blockchain and the blockchain technology, well, now I have I have the bridge from investing into going further into business ownership and self-employment opportunities through the blockchain. So for me, I look at it as a platform for women and mothers to really employ financially all across the board. You can invest, you can consult, you can mine, you can teach. It's the sky's the limit, you know. And in the cryptocurrency vein, because it's new, you're not starting off at a deficit. You know, for those people who started buying crypto this year, you're not necessarily going to be in a worse position than the people who bought last year. Because it's still relatively new, and there are people who bought a lot of crypto and they bought it when it was high and it's low now. So if you get in now, it's the playing field is even. The flat earth theory is now real. So you don't have to feel like, oh, I'm so behind the curve that I can't catch up. So that's another thing why I feel inspired about pursuing cryptocurrency and blockchain, you know, learning about the blockchain technology, because I can see how it's going to be life-changing for millions and millions of women who give it a chance.
Right. You know, you just brought up something that was kind of interesting when you talked about the concept of mining. So, you know, cryptocurrency mining, specifically for women as well, especially if they are mothers, right? Yes. So if you're a mother and you're a stay-at-home mother, you know, handling the household and working through the household, you still have, you know, some downtime, some free time to, you know, pick up the mining aspect of crypto.
Exactly.
Yeah. So exactly. I can definitely see that as a opportunity for stay-at-home mothers.
Cause I know a couple of men, you know, their brothers and their nephews are mining, and I'm looking at them like, that would be a perfect job for a stay-at-home mom to mine. You know, I'm literally, when I look at blockchain technology, I see for the first time, and I'm almost 40 years old, and I'm seeing for the first time, I really feel I can do anything that I want to do. I feel like, you know, all the things that I've ever wanted to learn about computers and technology, I feel supported in pursuing these interests and then diversifying my talents in all the areas that fulfill my educational and intellectual fancy. That's powerful. So of course, I want to tell as many women as possible.
So what do you tell them? Like, if a woman wanted to get started in this crypto space, what would you recommend that they do?
Well, the first thing I ask, you know, the women that are in my group is, do any of y'all know what is Bitcoin? What is everybody talking about? You know, and the reason I know that dropping subtle hints is sometimes better than just dropping the whole package in somebody's lap. It's almost like you want to drop little crumbs and you want to see who bites, you know, because you have to have a certain amount of interest in it because it's so new and so volatile that it's scary. So right now, I'm mainly dropping tidbits, but a lot of my energy is being a role model and role modeling by example, that if I can do it and prosper from it, you can too. I believe in it so much that guess what? I'm gonna do it. But as I do it, I would like for y'all to at least get some of those questions answered, you know, get some of those questions answered. And when you feel more confident in moving forward, call me so I can help set you up. Because that's what time it is.
Yeah. So what do you think is, I guess, the limiting factors or beliefs that may be holding some women back from getting more involved with crypto?
And I say this as an adult to another adult. I am not picking on anybody, but I must keep it honest. There is a certain amount of organization and there's a certain amount of command that you have to have over your personal life, your home, your time, and your resources. So for a lot of women who think you can deep dive into all these other things, but your life currently right now is very messy or unorganized, I would say, okay, while you're exploring this as an interest, in order to pursue this in reality, let's look at your life right now as it is. Okay, what's your complaint? Oh, the kids are driving me crazy. Okay, so then when I go to your house and I'm looking around, yeah, your kids are driving you crazy because there's no There's no format. I need you to get these kids on a schedule. See, I teach in pieces. The first thing I want you to do is get these kids on a schedule. When you come home, what is it that you do? And then while the kids are busy being on schedule, doing their homework or cleaning their rooms or whatever, I need you going ahead, and I need you to knock out some of your house chores. Get that cooking out the way, get that shower out that way, get the ironing out the way. It's all about successful multitasking and organization. There isn't a day where you're going to roll out the bed and all of a sudden your life is going to be perfect, and just no. We have to put in the programs into our personal lives that will make our lives work on our behalf. So for women, I would say first step first, get your home life in order. How do I know your home life is in order? Your home life is not in order if you're one of those people that never want to go home. Does that make sense? If you're the type of person, like, I don't want to go home because it's too much to do there, that's the first place you should go, home. You should go home and get your house in order so that you can build.
No, I love that. Me and my wife have been talking a lot about marriage and family and that type of thing as of late. And that's something that we have been working on too, is just making sure that all aspects of our house are in order.
Exactly.
Yeah. And it's, caused a world of difference in terms of positive difference in our relationship and in our lives. And I can, definitely see that in regards to that being a limiting factor for people to have time to invest in learning more about crypto or learning about anything, and being able to invest in those things. So I think that's really great insight that you provided.
Yeah.
So
and I'm speaking from experience, because I have a lot of women, they tell me, I don't understand how you're doing it. It looks like you have everything. I want you to know. I want all women to know, if you see another woman who looks like they have everything, you can look like you have everything too, and you can actually have everything. The question is, what are they doing and how are they doing it, and how fast can you implement what they're doing in your life right now? And you'll start to live the life of your dreams. I've been there, done that. I got that t-shirt. I know it. You can do it.
I love it. So, my last question before we get out of here is for individuals and I guess women who want to emulate, your path to success. Not totally, I don't know, how do you feel about having a child age 19, that type of thing. But, wherever they are in life, they want to be where you are currently. What would you recommend that they focus on to make that happen?
The very first thing that I think is very important for women to realize is that you are valuable, you have value, and guess what? It's your turn. It's your turn. It's your turn to get some of the things that you've been seeing everybody else out here get, but you've been ignored. You've been in the shadows for a very long time. Right now, blockchain and all of these organizations saying, where are the women in STEM? That's letting you know that your future is coming to your front door. The question is, what are you going to do about it? And guess what? You can succeed in these endeavors. But the first thing I need you to start doing is be nicer to yourself. I need you to talk nicer to yourself. I need you to surround yourself with positive images, positive words. If you don't know where to go, guess what? I have some books for you. They're at Amazon.com. You can go and get stuff free on Google. Get the things that you need so that you can start thinking positive about yourself, so that you can start loving yourself, so that you can know that all of these things that are coming, these are potentials in your own life that can make your life better. So it's all about starting from where you are. I want you to start loving yourself from where you are right now. I don't want you to wait to lose 10 pounds. I don't want you to wait till you have the perfect house or the perfect car. I don't want you to wait till you get that wedding ring finally. Now I can start loving myself. No. Right now where I'm sitting today, women need to start loving themselves from where they're finding themselves right now today. Then as you build up your courage and strength, then you'll be ready to tackle on some of this other stuff that's coming.
Wonderful. So Idowu, where can people find you? If they want to keep in touch with you.
Okay, definitely want as many women as possible to check out my original meditation art that I created just for you, women and mothers. Strong images of Black women, mothers, strong, powerful images at www.greatwoogallery.com. Also, I have a website for my homeschool, which is www.hallofsophia.com. And you just contact me on either page. Tell me what your needs are, what questions you have, and we'll go from there. As you can see, I'm very grassroots, which is why I have not done a marketing campaign, because I'm scared of getting too much business.
Yeah.
I haven't marketed for 10 years because this operation is mainly run by me. And when I boss my kids around by telling them, oh, make me this or go type this up or whatever. So I've tried to keep my business relatively small so that I can, do my best work. But right now, I'm ready to grow. So that's why I'm kind of reaching out a little bit more and automating book sales instead of just direct mailing myself. My books are on Amazon. So I'm really ready to invest in the lives of other women's success at this point in my life.
Wonderful. So we have been here with Edo Wu, and she is the founder of the Wu Gallery. If she gave your contact information, she's definitely someone you want to contact and also follow in the Women Who Crypto group that we have created. So on behalf of everything that we're doing, my name is Lawrence Watkins. I am the President and Chief Operating Officer of Boyce Watkins Enterprises in the Black Business School. Had a wonderful conversation with Edo Wu, and we look forward to tuning in with you again. So thanks so much for your time, Edo Wu.
Thank you so much. I enjoyed myself. Have a nice day.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, we're done.
How was that? Did I do okay? Was I speaking too fast?
No, you didn't.